didn't see a clear-cut chance created apart from maybe a couple of times the ball fell at the back post and it was a bit like, Martinez is...
They looked like they really enjoyed the defending again for the first time this season. They were doing it last year during lockdown, throwing their bodies in front of it, getting last blocks, congratulating each other. That back five looks like the back five of last season again. And
it was that Lamptey chance when you've seen 6 players on the goal line.
Yeah, perfect. That's all we want to see, isn't it?
Welcome back to another episode of Every Week We Follow podcast. This time, instead of it being a miserable one, it's a good one. Welcome to Stevie G. Brighton, first game. Who's gonna talk about it?
Reece is buzzing.
Oh, no.
I'm just buzzing.
Welcome back, by the way.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers. Nice.
Part-timer.
No, absolutely buzzing. We absolutely needed the 3 points on Saturday, and I said before, it definitely wasn't a vintage performance. Wasn't something it's not something you'd show the grandkids in a few years' time. But it was 3 points when it was exactly what we needed. I think the way we set up was pretty much spot on. Couldn't really complain. I thought we started really well, to be honest. I thought we played some real good football. We looked tidy, looked neat, and then kind of story of the season kind of faded off a little bit going into the second half. And I don't think they were much better, to be honest. It was a pretty drab game. But at the end of the day, we did what we had to, didn't we? We scored when it mattered. And we didn't just win 1-0, we won 2-0 as well. So, on the front of it, it's a convincing win, clean sheet. And I think as soon as we scored that goal, I think the players and the crowd just stood to attention, didn't they? Because before that, I'll be honest, I thought his reception was pretty poor. I thought the atmosphere was pensive. I wouldn't say it was like a great game for him to be introduced to Villa Park, to be honest with you. I thought it was quite a pensive atmosphere, which you can understand after losing 5. You've just sacked a manager a lot of people, still have a lot of admiration for. But look, we've won 2-0, needed the win. It's time to move on now and crack on with the season, I think. So, no, absolutely buzzing.
Yeah, I just echoing that, really. I thought he got a decent reception. I mean, he wasn't doing cartwheels down the touchline.
I mean, nah.
You don't, it was just, let's get down to business, let's get to work. Obviously, it was a quiet game up until the 80th minute. I think the thing that stood out the most for me was that through those, obviously we didn't dominate the ball by any means, but through those sustained periods of time out of possession, the shape for me was absolutely spot on. I mean, that 4-3-3, everyone, the distances. I think he touched on it in his press conference that first and foremost we need to get the shape right, the distances, and I just thought he was absolutely spot on, and I thought we looked comfortable. Didn't really, I can't remember us conceding a clear-cut chance. That really impressed me. Even when we switched to a different system, I think we went to a 4-4-2 when Young came on and Ghazi as well. And I thought again the shape defensively was superb, and I mean, you know what? He's brought Ashley Young on, and he's beat a man. He's carried the ball. He's got his head up, and he's picked out Watkins. And then Watkins, he would have had a lot of people going for him if he didn't score it. Should he have passed it to Bailey? But he's put it in the top corner, and then the rest is history. But not history, but what it was. His big moment for him, obviously, first under Gerrard, and then Mings, who I thought was absolutely spotless all game, is a really well taken finish, to be fair, on a weaker foot, and good moment for him. Just topped off a really good afternoon, and it's something to build on.
It was everything that I expected from Steven Gerrard's first game in charge, and for the first time in 5 or 6 weeks, we had more players performing well than weren't. Individually they were all doing their jobs. Went back to basics. All of the back four was spotless. Martinez was back to making saves that you'd expect from him. And like he said in his interview after the game, challenge them to keep a clean sheet, and if you do that, then it gives you the opportunity to go on and win the game. But I was really pleased. There was little differences that I noticed, and I don't know whether or not it was specifically to do with Gerrard, but when Targett went down injured in the second half, I think if that was Dean Smith on the touchline, he'd maybe have subconsciously have gone off injured. But I don't know if that Gerrard being there on the touchline, the new manager, the situation that we're in, maybe gave him that little kick up the backside to maybe carry on. And little things, Buendia seemed to last another 10, 15 minutes. He was coming off with 15 to go as opposed to half an hour. They just seemed to have found an extra 0.5 in their match ratings, each of them. And I think that was a difference in the end.
Yeah. I think, on that Target fact, I think in the first half he was really frustrating me at some times. Some of his I think you put 3 really bad passes together, and usually you would he'd lose his head, but he managed to dig deep. Even when he went down injured, I was thinking, oh, there we go again. He's Ashley Young's gone warming up, but he's found something else in the tank there, and he stood up and he almost made an unbelievable assist for Bailey as well.
Jason Steele and pulled off a blinder of a save.
Exactly.
That would have been.
He
I mean,
played well, didn't he? Their keeper. We always get second goalkeepers coming in.
Yeah.
You're rubbing your hands together. They always pull off worldy games.
It's like that Bristol City goalkeeper.
That's it,
years
isn't
ago.
it?
It was like Casillas. I don't know if he's ever played a game since, has he? He was unbelievable.
Well, if Bailey would have scored that, you'd have had Usain Bolt who sat behind me, probably sprinting onto the pitch. Well, no one would be able to catch him.
He'd have been there in a second.
Yeah, he'd have been doing cartwheels like Gerrard. But no, also that you love to see that at the end as well. You know, you see how much it means to him. It was his celebrations, everything. It just really tipped off a. Bloody hell, you had that engine there.
You won't hear that.
You'll get that.
You will.
But no, tipped off a great weekend, and smashing. You can't really have any complaints about that individually. Jacob Ramsey, he's looking really good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think when, don't want to say the Grealish word, but I have. Like when he came in, he wasn't really getting the massive amounts of goals and assists. I think he waited for ages for a goal or an assist either. I think Ramsey's actually probably affecting games a little bit more than he was originally. I think the only thing what it is for him now is to start finding that little killer pass. I think he maybe delays. I think that's my only criticism at the moment. He delays what he sees, and then by the time that he's had his second thought about it, the opportunity's gone to pass the ball. If he can release it a little bit quicker, get a little bit sharper, have a bit, get in the position for a few more shots, and believe in himself that little bit more, he's going to be a frightening player, and he's still really young. And go on.
That's all right. I thought you had finished, so I was going to start speaking. No, I was just going to say what I was more impressed with was the fact that those McGinn and Ramsey had 2 basically new roles to learn, because they played it really well in covering the fullbacks. Because the fullbacks had to drive high in the way he wants to play, and they were covering every single time. And it was so good because the wingers were playing as inside forwards, and they weren't needed that much defensively. They were just told that they need to be closing down higher, and it really, I thought it was. And that
role will suit Watkins. It was nice to see McGinn do a 2 roulettes on the halfway line 5 minutes ago. So it was just like, this is McGinn as well. He was back. Everyone was on it. It was good to see. Martinez gets another clean sheet. I think that's 19 clean sheets in 49 games for him. So if he can get 20 out of 50 next week, then that'll be what a start to his career that will be as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just buzzing with it really. You can't really have any complaints.
No, not really. I think all you can judge Gerrard on is kind of how he set us up, which we just spoke about, which I thought was spot on for the game against Brighton, and also his subs. All his subs come on and made a difference, made an impact. Ashley Young was superb. Even El Ghazi was a bit of a tricky customer, which I don't usually say that, but he provided some energy into the game, didn't he? I think his subs really worked, and he took the right players off as well. I still question marks over Wendy for me. If you're talking about individual performances, I'm just not seeing enough from him, to be honest. I think there's a player there, absolutely, but I'm not seeing that cutting edge from him. I mean, look, we've argued before he's not a number 10, playing his right position, see how he plays.
What is his right position though, Reece?
But the thing is, at Norwich, he was playing where we played him on Saturday. That's his rightful position. So there's no excuses for me now. He has got to step it up, because at the moment he's looking like a bit of a flop, isn't he? It's very early doors at the moment.
I think
that's bollocks, Reece. That is. I think you've got to give him time. I think he's not
been good enough so far, has he?
No.
He's not been good enough.
He hasn't. No, he hasn't got 5 assists and 3 goals. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't on paper. His performances hasn't been as good as they can be. But I'm not gonna say it's, he's looking like a flop at this point. It's really early to say something like that.
Based on current performances, though, he is, though, isn't he? And I'm just.
But people need time to play, don't they?
They do. I'm just saying. I'm not saying he's a bad player at all. There's a reason why he costs 40 million.
Yeah.
But I need to be seen a lot more, because at the moment he just looks like a Carla skill.
What worries me with him is that the stuff that I think he lacks, I can't see where it's going to get rectified. Because for me, we've bought him for the final third. I know he works hard, and I know he's a bit of a tricky customer, but he needs to be doing a lot more in the final third, and he's not at the minute, because in my opinion, 1, he looks a bit lightweight, and 2, he looks a bit slow, and they're not going to get solved. So I'm not going to call him a flop at all, and I do think there's a lot more to come from him. In second half against Southampton, I thought he was the only one that stepped up before he came off with 20 minutes to go, because he's clearly still not fit. But I just struggle to see. Bailey, you can see it when he comes on. You know what you're getting with him. Pace, trickery, a bit of strength, flair. I'm not sure what Buendia he's going to bring once it clicks.
I just think it's time, pretty much. You got to just bear with him a little bit. I think it's a brand new team. The personnel has always changed around him. The system has always changed. Whether it's a back three or whatever. It's his first game under Gerrard. I didn't think he was by any means a disgrace, but I think he could have obviously influenced the game better. I think some of his flicks in there, or some of them are an absolute joke. How he finds a man in such a tight area space. He poked Ings through an Ivor Leadle at one point. Could have had a chance there. I think Ings had a bit of a heavy touch. I'm willing to stick with Buendia because I can see there's a player in there. I think just get used to the system.
Who's expense there though? Because if we're saying, all right, we're going to give Buendia all the time to fit in, it's at the expense of, in my opinion, one of Bailey or I can't see where all three of them fit in.
I'm not going to disagree with maybe like him to take some time out of the team. I just think I'm not saying he should start for the next 6 games to see what comes of it. Yeah. I just think just persist with it. Just there's not too much pressure on him at this point. I think he himself knows, looks frustrated that he's not really creating as much and not doing the most he can. But I think Bailey can come on off the bench. That's the thing. The positive is we've got players off the bench now that if you're not playing to the standards that you can hit, then there's someone else who's ready to take your position. I know Bailey's absolutely gagging for it to come on. He was warming up for 15, 20 minutes. Like, he would not sit down. And I think also on that note, Sanson was warming up in front of me for about 35 minutes. He was absolutely raring to get on, trying his hard. He was sweating. Like, you're probably sweating more than some of the players on the pitch were. He was good, doing a proper warm up. And then, to be fair to him, when Ghazi came on for the third sub, he just ran back, sat on the bench, and I didn't see a water bottle go flying. So that was that was good as well. But I think just look, it's a new era. Everyone gets a bit of not exactly a clean slate, but it's pretty much they pretty much do. What they do. Yeah, they pretty much do. So I think give him time. I think he's going to come good. I can see more than a decent player in there.
Yeah, no, I think there is, but I just think based on the way we finished the game, you'd argue that he doesn't play against Palace because we finished the game a lot stronger when he come off.
Yeah.
Say the same about Danny Ings then as well, because I don't think he's exempt from criticism's not the right word. I'm not here to criticise any of them, but if we're going to sit here and dissect Buendia's performances over the last week and the last start of the season, I think it's fair to ask the same question of Danny Ings. I know he's not been fit either, but there's been a couple of times, to Buendia's credit, where he's patched Danny Ings in either needle passes against Wolves and on Saturday. And his touches have just been a bit heavy, and his finishing hasn't been as clinical. So I think there's more to see from Danny Ings as well. But it's whether or not he fits in the team at the minute.
A decent run of games together, and like we said, it is a clean slate for everyone. They've got the opportunity now to and it's a really good starting base to start. And I think if we can have that performance, I know it wasn't great, but we just need to get results. And I think holding that shape firm, defending as well as we did there, because I didn't see a clear-cut chance created, apart from maybe a couple of times the ball fell at the back post and it was a bit like, Martinez is...
It looked like they really enjoyed the defending again for the first time this season. They were doing it last year during lockdown, throwing their bodies in front of it, getting last blocks, congratulating each other. That back five looks like the back five of last season again.
It was that Lamptey chance when you've seen 6 players on the goal line.
Yeah, perfect. That's all we want to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even the Mings goal. I mean, he's got no right in getting that ball in the first place. To keep it in, and he's gone and finished it as well. Like, that was pure. Talk about a captain's goal. That was a captain's goal in its essence, there, wasn't it? And I think he needed that as well. He needed a clean sheet and influence on the game. He did absolutely that. And I'm hoping that
he hit it like he wanted it.
Oh God, 100%. I'm hoping that with Steven Gerrard in charge now, he's kind of given a bit of a kick up the arse and said, you are the captain, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? So I think that's what he said. He did that, didn't he? I think. And I think, like I said, we've always said it. If Timings cuts out his mistakes, he's an English first teamer for me. He's an England call up waiting to happen.
I think as well, touching on Mings, is that it was that every time this season, pretty much every time he's found that he's got the ball on his left foot in that pocket on the left hand side, he's always clipped it over the top. But I didn't see any of that maybe until there was some real clearances that need to be doing when you're later on in the game. But we kept the ball. He always looked to keep the ball, and there was none of these clips in behind. It was always like, we'll try and play the ball inside, try and find out where I was. And I thought we just played really well. And that reluctance to go long helped us out, helped us keep the ball, be a bit more comfortable with the ball. Look, he wasn't the most exciting game to watch, but I don't think we wanted an exciting game. We just wanted to win and stop the rot that was there. Suddenly arrived. But no, smashing. Can't really complain about any player on the pitch. Nakamba came in, done his job. I'd like to see Douglas Luiz in this midfield. Yeah. I think fully fit him and Sanson's really knocking on the door now as well, trying to break into the
competition if they all play like that.
He'll do really well to get into this side now, Sanson, because Ramsey is looking really good. He's looking like a player that we should really invest some time
Absolutely.
into, because he's carrying the ball. He's really class. His confidence. He's getting his head up now, and he's not far off being a really top player.
European midfielder.
Exactly.
There's no better coaches.
Exactly.
Steven Gerrard.
You see them at full time straight away, Gerrard, and it was almost like an aggressive bear hug that Gerrard pulled him into.
Yeah.
I was almost jealous of him. I was thinking he's just played that well at Villa Park, and he's got Gerrard doing that with it.
Yeah.
It will do wonders for his career. And I could tell on Sunday, players were looking for Jacob in tight spaces. Oh, I'll give it to him. He's coming on leaps and bounds. He's getting better every week. And I struggle to see, you're right, where Sanson and Chuck Wameka, he's another one that, we all thought he was going to have this big start to the season. He's still really young, but no, it's certainly JJ's shirt to lose now.
I think he'll start to score some goals as well, because I remember it was obviously a few years ago, but he was at Doncaster. And he went on loan for a couple of months, and he must have scored like 4 goals in 6 games for them. He arrives late. He arrives late in the box, and I think he's got a bit more of a licence now to drive forward as well. Especially, he's not playing in a number 10 role, but the 2-8, Tim and McGinn have pretty much got the licence to do what they want, and
he'll want them scoring as well. Won't
you can see them. Well, McGinn will get goals anyway, because he always has them. But you can see Ramsey arriving in that box and getting some goals this season. I'm going to tip him for 5 goals this year.
I think what we're seeing with Ramsey is a real good footballing brain all of a sudden. In the past, I think in seasons gone by, he's probably played it a little bit safer, probably played a bit more deeper as well. But seeing him move the ball forward and some of the intricate passes and the triangles that are being played, I'm seeing a proper player making it.
Yeah. He's seeing spaces and he's running into them with the ball at his feet, and it's like he's getting so much more confident. He's such a strong lad as well for his age. I think he's pretty much burst onto the scene this season really, and shown us all what he's about.
I've got to be honest, I wasn't amazed with him last year. I thought he had a good solid season, but I didn't think he's going to be one that's going to be knocking down the manager's door next season, or even be progressing with the club with where we want to go. But now I think Gerrard should be thinking, I'll build around him, and he even got a mention on Match of the Day, didn't he? Had a word to say about him. So fair play, long may it continue, but he's got to keep fit.
Yeah, he's definitely our most improved player of the season so far, isn't he, Ramsey? Yeah. It's not even quite. No one really comes close, really.
No,
he's been when called upon, when he's played, he's been decent for me.
He's been the shining light, hasn't he?
He has, and I think the thing is for now for us is obviously it's great to see that win against Brighton, but you know what, everyone else won around us, to be honest with you. Yeah. So we had to win that game. So what we can't do is get complacent. We've got to really. I want to see us with the same intensity, which I'm sure we will do, and the same drive against Palace. Because I think against a team who have looked good this season. I think am I right in thinking they've only lost to Liverpool and City? Have I made that up?
Yeah. But I think that was the same as. Brighton had a similar start. They'd only lost to Chelsea. And they don't lose many games.
No, they don't, do they? So it won't be an easy game. Any stretch of the imagination, Patrick Vieira, another great man of the game. He's got them playing. So I think the key for us now is just to keep it moving, because we've got Man City coming up as well, which won't be easy. Leicester, I can't see being this bad for as long as I've been. So just got to keep it pushing and keep moving it really. And you'd like to go into January well clear of that area. If we can.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better topic to talk about for me when we're doing well like this. I mean, look, the whole thing's flipped on its head since 2 weeks ago. We was in here fuming, raging at each other about
crying into your tea, weren't you?
Yeah. I weren't well, but no, the smile's back on all of our faces, and we're just buzzing that it's getting right again, and we can see once again, the foundations that we'd put in place for the last few years, even though the keg started to turn a little bit backwards. Now they're back in the forward motion that we wanted to go into, and once again, it's all rosy and the future's bright.
You can see where the next point's coming from all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Little things like that.
Look, he's only in charge for one game, but it's one of them. I'm going to say, would Smith have won that game on Saturday?
No, when Morpay came on.
Yeah,
it would have been 1-0 to Brighton, 90th minute, just because that's the way it was going. And I just felt, wasn't it?
Like you said, Brett, the performance levels did raise up a notch on Saturday. And look, you get that with a new manager a lot. It does happen, but we definitely needed a change, didn't we? Because I just thought that just the whole thing just felt a bit more positive on Saturday, and kind of you get behind it a bit more. Because we were in a real rot, weren't we?
Do you know what? I really did. I was really, really happy with what I saw as well. I mean, just in terms of that defensive shape that I seen, it was just like we just looked so much more organised. He came and he's galvanised us, and it's the second stage in what we're trying to do now. We've came up, we've solidified the position, and now we're a Premier League side, and now it's the next stage. Now we've got to kick on. And
I think you're spot on, and I think Gerrard's right as well. When he was sort of asked what can this season turn into for Villa, he just said all he's asked about's the next game. I think he's right. But if we can try and pull away from the relegation zone and almost be in a position where we can treat the second half of this season like a pre-season for next season,
definitely.
then I think we could be in a really good position to kick on next year. But as you got to go and win your next game as soon as possible. So
exactly, we've got a tough run as well. It's a really massive game,
and Christmas is always difficult as well. So
yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it's going to take us a while to get up to his level of intensity that he expects. Because I mean, I'm pretty certain with the second lowest runners in the league, aren't we, this season? Yeah. Which is for him, he's not good enough. He's up the training sessions, I've heard as well. So it's going to take us a while to get up to his tempo. He did at Rangers. It took Rangers a while to get up to where he wanted him to be. So it's great to win this first game. But like you said, Brett, I think this season's almost like a pre-season for the big one next year. Like just to get into his style. Yeah. And I do think he'll be given money to make additions in Jan as well. And I think the first player he will buy is Kamara. I think the first player who buys a CDM, because I know the Canberra. Yeah. He didn't do much right, didn't do much wrong for me, but he had an alright game. I think that's the one area where I think if you're going to play the football that he wants, you need a commander in that midfield.
Yeah, he's not going to be this bad. He's not going to. He doesn't own midfield, does he?
No, he doesn't.
He's a decent option to have.
Yeah.
But he's not the future.
I don't think we'll ever be a top 10 side for as long as Nakamba's starting more than half of our games in a season, and it's unfortunate because I love him. I think his work rate's superb. He gets stuck in. He's been a great asset to the club over the last couple of years, but he is really limited, and he's one of the few in the squad that is quite a lot. Have more potential to come, but he's not one of them. I don't think.
I mean, it's like when Louise, when the goalkeeper's got the ball and the two centre half split, and Louise is the one that's dropping into the hole to pick up the ball and have a look forward. You don't. There's no doubts in your mind. You're thinking, he can spray this anywhere, and there's no limit to where he can. As soon as it's Nakamba that's doing that, it's the limit's to 5 yards, 10, 15 yard pass. He can probably give it out to the left back or the full back, but he's not going to split
give
open
the whole end a heart attack in the process.
Exactly.
I mean, all you got to do really is look at the performance from Bazoum for Brighton on Saturday. I thought he was absolutely colossal. I mean, he's probably not the plan. Again, I don't watch him enough. I can't imagine him playing 40, 50 yard passes, but in terms of what he does in that CDM role, the bloke was absolutely colossal.
I think he pretty much held down the inside midfield.
He was
by far the best player on the pitch.
He was, wasn't he? Like clear. He was like what you said, Brett. It was like the Declan Rice thing. When someone comes to Villa Park and they just stand out.
They're all you talk about.
I thought he was a level above Declan Rice.
Quality.
I thought so as well. Declan Rice really impressed me the last two times he's come to Villa Park, and Bissouma's probably the only one that's done that. Forget your cities and you're in awe of them when they come anyway. But it's rare that you see a player at this level. The other 14 in the league. That good. Yeah,
I don't really come out of games and think too much about the opposition. So I mean, the only player I can think of when we beat Chelsea and Delph did that Cruyff turn finish, I thought Nemanja Matic that day was one of the best players I've ever seen play. Yeah. And I've never really thought about it ever since then. And then it was just this Basuma.
Yeah.
What
he really was. And you know what? I don't know how much you can read into rumours, but we probably could have had a crack for him in the summer. Yeah. But like we said, I think if that's the sort of stuff he's doing week in, week out for Brighton, then there's no way he'd get anywhere near him, is there? Because he was top
into that United team comfortably.
He was top draw, but look, it wasn't enough to stop us from winning, was it? Which is the main thing.
You got to go more than that. You got to give me more than Bissouma to stop us winning. Stop this Steven Gerrard train cruising through,
departing the platform. It was exactly what we needed, wasn't it? And I think Palace would be a different challenge. Benteke scoring goals in it at the moment as well. It's typical, isn't it? But I think Palace would be a real good test for us because we've not been good enough away from home either, have we, to be honest?
No. I mean, the Steven Gerrard theme chain, he's calling it Crystal Palace, and it's showing no signs of slowing down, is it? So let's go choo down to 3 points and just cruise on down. I'm ready for it. Bring them on. It's changed, hasn't it? The whole nature. We can finally smile and have a laugh again. Although last week it was. Now we're talking about trains.
We're talking about trains. I did say in the pod a couple of weeks ago I would have had Stevie G. All of a sudden,
you did.
Yeah. I tell you what, we don't half owe Palace one though after Selhurst Park a couple of years ago.
We do.
We're on it. I do believe in things like that in football, and I think we'll get what we deserve Saturday just for that reason.
So. We threw it away last year badly, didn't we?
Yeah, well there you go.
We threw it away, didn't we, at Palace? It was a nothing game.
There's no need for us to do it as well.
It was a nothing game. We were on the beach, weren't we? We just kind of threw it away. So you're right, Brett. We owe Palace one big time. And look, like I said, that from what I've seen from them this season, it won't be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. But these are the sort of teams you've got to be going and looking for 3 points.
We've got to beat them.
We haven't we?
For where we want to be, we've got to be. We can't be going into Crystal Palace with the mindset Well, I mean, we can admit it's going to be a tough game, but we've got to go. Well, we've got to start for nothing less than 3 points.
But they'll be sat there now thinking, bloody hell, Villa are on a roll.
Exactly.
Well, not a roll, sorry, off the back of a good result, new manager bounce.
On a rail.
All of a sudden, they're not the. Can we stop this? Yeah, they'll be thinking that's a difficult test. Yeah. So, yeah, we can go there optimistic and look to win it. None of this draw nonsense. Let's go there and try and win it.
Yeah, buzzing. Yeah, good to see. We don't want to talk about it anymore, but Dina got a good 3 points as well.
Well, it's worth a mention, isn't it?
Yeah, it is worth a mention.
Yeah, it's worth a mention. And I'll tell you what, also worth a mention is Villa win, Blues lose. Good weekend.
Good weekend, isn't it?
So cheers for that, Mr. Deeney.
I found that one. I found that on the weekend after the game. Give you a little retweet.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Cheers for Gary Gardner as well. Thank you very much for the red card. Superb.
Got sent off for headbutting someone, didn't he? In the first half?
Keep it up, Gary.
Well
Big props from the Every Week We Follow podcast.
I'm really enjoying Newcastle's season so far at the minute as well. That's getting funnier each week.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. I mean, what was it? How couldn't even make his first game because he tested positive for COVID.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's poetry.
It's just that club, isn't it? It's just.
Yeah. You got Jar Jar Binks sitting in the stands as well. It's just
a good weekend all round, really, wasn't it?
It was.
Top banana.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, moving on to the next weekend, the Palace game. Are we going to go straight into predictions?
Well, you know what? Whilst we're here, we actually are playing now, aren't we? Against Burnley. 2-0. Caleb scored 2.
Of course, they are.
2, is that it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean the lineup for this game was absolutely ridiculous. I think we had Caleb Carney. Did we have Philogene Badace as well?
Yeah.
And like Archer. Like that is a scary,
scary
attack, isn't it? Like, but yeah, just thought I'd tribute that.
Well, yeah, 2-0. I think it's only been half an hour played as well.
That's something daft like that. Yeah.
That'll probably finish 5.
Yeah.
Probably the similar results the next weekend at Crystal Palace.
Predictions.
There's his prediction.
Oh, yeah, have you? I can't have 5 now. That's just taking a piss, isn't it? I'll go first then. I'll go a cheeky 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. I think Big Chris will score, I do. But I fancy us.
Yeah. And he do that silly celebration that he does every week now as well.
Yeah.
Thinking he's LeBron James. That little...
Oh, with
the knee
with
thing.
his knee.
No one can see that.
It's no finger in the air, is it? Or the fists at Wembley for Liverpool.
Yeah.
You sort of doing that when I was on the night out when I was pissed.
You used to. You still do it.
Yeah.
Every time I see you.
But yeah, 2-1, I think.
2-1.
1-0. I'm going for myself. I fancy us to keep another clean sheet and then nick one late on.
Yeah, Buendia's getting the goal.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'd love
Prove
it.
me wrong, sorry.
Yeah. Sam?
I'm going to go 1-0. Just because I was thinking about going 1-1, but I'm not going to be negative.
Yeah.
I mean, 1-1 wouldn't be the worst result in the world, to be honest with you. They're no mugs, are they, Paddy? You want to go in, win it, don't you?
I mean, when was the last time we beat them at their place?
I'm going to go 1-0, Benteke.
Yeah, Benteke, yeah.
Great goal that was.
Yeah. Picked it up from the halfway. Was it Scott down there? He just went, see it later.
Mate.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Big crease.
Nice. No, but yeah, if we're being assertive, 1-1 would be a good point there at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that Conor Gallagher's having an absolute unreal season.
Playing really well.
How do you think Gerrard goes? Do you reckon he goes unchanged? Or, I mean, you've got to factor in some of the substitutes. I don't know. He's got a headache all of a sudden, hasn't he?
Got to be unchanged. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably be tempted to play Bailey, for being honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought he made a good impact.
I think it'd be the right game to stick to playing Nakamba. Speaking of it, anyway, I think he'd probably suit that game away there because I can't expect us to dominate the ball against them because they've got a really nice midfield. But we'll see. Hopefully, we can have Douglas Luiz fit anyway and be an extra.
He was
option.
on his story this morning playing head tennis in the changing room. Not that means anything. Probably still won't see him till January, but he was there. He was playing against Trezeguet though, so there might be
in the rehab clinic.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. All right, well, up the Villa.
UTV.
Yeah, see you all Saturday.
See you on the train.
See you on the train.
Stevie G train.
Choo choo.